Aloha! Welcome to the Friday Marketing Jam session. That's right. We are both back. Mr. Nick Ponte back in Hawaii. Me, Mr. Tom Gaddis, sweating it out in Las Vegas. Crushing temperatures here finally. It was an amazingly cool June. It never got over 100 degrees, but now the over 100-degree temperatures are here. So what are you going to do? Stay inside and crank up the air. That's what I say. But I don't have to deal with that now because I'm here on this live show with you. We got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about client acquisition. So we're going to share some wins. We're going to talk about some different ways to get your next or your first client. We're going to take your questions. We're going to do some Cash App money. It's going to be a good time. So grab a drink, sit back, relax. I'm going to cue up the intro, and we'll see you back here in one momento.
It's now time, the moment you've been waiting for. Get ready for the fastest 60 minutes of marketing strategies and tactics to build your remote empire from anywhere in the world. After 167 agonizing hours, they've finally returned. From the sun-soaked Sin City and the sandy shores of Maui, Hawaii, now back for a brand new Aloha Marketing Jam session. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks and Remote Millionaires, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
Oh man, that crowd is fired up. Woo, listen to that. That is amazing. Listen to them. They're just going crazy, Nick.
Man, it's a ruckus out there.
Yeah, that's great. We love it. Well, awesome. Welcome, everybody. Let's take a look at the comments. Let's see who's here. What's up, Dorn? Dorn, glad to see you back. Feeling better. Barbara, we are live. That's right. Hello, Facebook user. James Juris, welcome. Chandra, Shirley, Jacqueline, welcome. Frank the Tank, howdy doody, Frank. Cameron in the house. Man, we got everybody here. Pretty awesome. So, Nick, what has been going on in the agency?
Landed a couple clients yesterday. I know that.
That's good.
We have just been trying to build, I mean, with all that, everybody wants tons of clients. We're here to talk about getting clients today. But I have to tell you, when you get a lot of clients, it can be a lot of work. And
be careful what you wish for. Is that what you're saying?
I know a lot of people here don't really like work. So, getting clients is a lot of work. And the nice thing, though, about what we do is that you can be creative in how you get that work done. So for example, we've been getting more clients and the workload has been increasing for our project managers and our account coordinators and our fulfillment teams. And when people get overworked and they're at capacity, everybody, the stress rises across the board for everybody. And the way that you can lower that stress is by bringing more people, hiring more people. And so, this morning I made a post in the Facebook group about hiring an SEO expert to bring into the agency. And I mean, I got like 30 comments immediately from people that are like, I'm an SEO expert. And I responded to a few of them. But, looking at it that way of like, okay, we have this capacity thing. We have more people coming in. We have more clients. Our people are working really hard and they're busy. What can we do? Well, let's hire somebody to help alleviate some of those friction points, some of that workload. One of the big things that is a big piece of work when a new SEO client comes in is auditing their existing presence, doing a technical audit and analysis, and then implementing those things. The good news is all those things are easily outsourced. You can have somebody do that stuff. There are so many people out there that are great at doing search engine optimization. I think sometimes, Tom, for you and I, we even have to remind ourselves of this when we start to reach capacity. It's like we need to get the tasks in our business done, but they don't necessarily need to be by us. And we have to remind ourselves to delegate when we can delegate, or even remind other people in our team, like, hey, we know you're busy. How can we help you become less busy? Can we hire somebody to help you? And it's important to remember, because that's how you can lower your stress level.
Yeah, and sometimes that's hard to do that because you think, well, nobody can do this like I can do it. Or you think, oh, then I'm gonna have to show them how to do it, which is gonna take more time. I might as well just do it and get it over with. But like, you have to fight those temptations and those those emotions and feelings. I'm laughing at Dorn and Jamie in here talking about generating money. Dorn's recommendation. Anyway, I did have a question about something you said there, because you mentioned project managers and account coordinators. And I saw one of our Remote Millionaires members, I think I saw it this morning, maybe it was yesterday. They asked about the difference between those two roles. So maybe can you just tell us a little bit about what is the difference between, because they were asking if the account coordinator replaced the project managers, it's just a new name for the same job, but they're two separate roles, correct?
Yeah, and I can show you all kind of one of our systems around that. Who would like to see that? Who would like to see how those roles, what the responsibilities look like, and how they work together, and how we use both of them to handle our accounts, keep clients happy, but also get the work delivered. And while you do that, I'm gonna find my tab here with that information.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk to Jamie's question, because Jamie had a great question that we get a lot from various people that are trying to get their businesses off and running and stuff. And this is Jamie's question. He says, if you're starting from scratch, no money, no clients, really need to come up with $1,000 in the next 3 days, what would you do? Jamie, there's a couple of things I want to say about this. I'm going to give you some recommendations, some things that you can go try. But I also want to preface that by saying that situation is not ideal, right? That is not the best way to start to build a business. Like, you really, you're going to need to give yourself time. I mean, that's just the reality of it, right? Like, ask any business owner. Like, when they go to start a business, the goal is not like just starting in 3 days is unrealistic. We have a luxury as digital marketing service providers that if we have a skill, if we already know a skill and we already have a service we can sell, we can start selling it. But when so my question to you would be like, well, what's your skill set? Like, what do you have already that you can sell? Because you don't have enough time to learn something new. So what is it? Do you do SEO? Can you build websites? Like, what is the thing that you already know how to do, right? My second piece of advice in these types of situations, because I found myself in this situation early on, and you need something that is a pretty straightforward sale. So I'll give you one example. We have a product called, we have a couple, one called Home Services Jackpot and one called Professional Services Payday. And the gist of those courses is they are pre-done websites in local business niches that you can look for somebody who doesn't have a website or has a really old and crummy website, and you can offer to sell them this website. Now, the advantage to this is that the website is already built. So you can go to the person and say, hey, I'm a local web designer here. As part of a project, I built this website for an electrician, and I'm not an electrician. So now I have this electrician website. It's pretty much finished. Here's a link to it. Take a look at it. I notice you don't have a website. If you would like this one, because it's already done and I just want to get rid of it, I can sell it to you for a really great deal, $500, or, we have people in our community that sell them anywhere from $500 to a couple of $1,000. So, but having that thing that's already done to sell really cuts down your time from talking to the prospect to collecting a check, right? Because typically when you go to sell a website, the person says, yeah, I'm in for the website. They give you a deposit. Now you've got to figure out what kind of website they want built. Like there's a process to that. And oftentimes when you get into websites that are bigger websites, like, $4,000, $5,000, $8,000, like the process of closing that deal there's a good amount of time there. Like it's very rare that you just walk into some place unknown to someone and sell them an $8,000 website. Like there's got to be some other things that happen along the way, right? So one, if you already have a skill and you can back up that you know how to do that skill and you have some proof, you're in a way better spot. If you don't, then you need to find something that's like, okay, I have this website that's already done and now I can just go sell it. There's no learn time, right? And one of the ways that we facilitate people to do that is in professional services payday and in home services jackpot. Like we've already set the demo sites up at a generic domain. So you don't even have to do that. Like you can literally just use our demo setup that's not branded to us or to anybody. Like you can literally use that as the thing you show. So you don't have to do anything except find an electrician that doesn't have a website, reach out and send them that link that we provide you and say, hey, I want, would you be interested in this? So that would be my second thing about this, right? Is like have something that is a quick, you're probably not going to go out and sell a $10,000 project or anything like that, right? Like you need something that you can sell maybe multiples of, something that's 500, if you're looking for $1,000, maybe you could get somebody to buy it for 1,000, but all you have to do is go sell 2 for 500 and you hit your goal, right? So you want to keep those numbers tight. The third thing about this is you got to talk to people. There's no workaround to this. And what I mean by that is you have to forget about trying to use cold email or that the clients are going to come to you somehow. You have to be super aggressive in going out and finding the people and talking to them. And what that means is it's really easy to do. I mean, you can just Google in whatever area you're in and say, if electricians is the thing, electricians, and look in the Google Maps and you can see really fast which ones don't have websites. Like there's nothing complicated about the process. You don't need software. You just go to Google, you Google it, you do that. But then you got to call those businesses. And I mean, like, you got to call until you sell one. And there's really no way around that or walk in. Like when I found myself in this situation, I had something that I could just go in and say, look, you're going to pay me $500 and this is what you're going to get. It was super straightforward. I just walked into businesses. I got up at 7 in the morning, got ready. I started walking into businesses at 8:30, 9 in the morning, and I went into business after business after business all one day. And then the next day, business after business after business after business. Like I just kept doing that every single day until I had, sold what I needed to sell. And, I had one day where I hadn't sold anything. Like I had sold at least one every single day. And I had this one day when I didn't sell anything and it's 5 o'clock and like every bone in my body was like, you should just go home, but like I freaking needed it to be done. And so I thought, well, what businesses could I go to this late at night? Like restaurants are in dinner, like a lot of other businesses are closed. And as I was driving around, I looked over and I saw a tattoo parlor right on South Kihei Road. Remember where that little, right at like by the Foodland, Nick? Mm-hmm. There's a tattoo parlor tucked back in the corner. And I was like, a tattoo parlor. And it said open 24 hours. And I was like, I could go in there. And so I walked in there and 2 of the tattoo artists they teamed up and bought what I was selling. And then I went home because I was like, okay, I made one sell. I went home. And then over the next couple of days, I closed out what I was doing. But like, you have to just have that. You just have to have that drive. Right. And, you can walk into businesses, you can call them, you can find networking groups in your area and show up at those. But like, you have to be talking to people that can buy what you're selling. Like there's no other way around it, And when you find yourselves in these situations, I know like when I was in this situation before, like I was looking for a magic bullet. Like, just give me something like an email I can send that's going to generate. And then I've learned that just doesn't exist, right? Like you got to want to get it done, and you just have to go get it done no matter what that requires you to do, you know? But ideally, you don't want to be in that situation, right? You want to give yourself a little bit of runway and wiggle room to be able to do what you need to do.
Yeah. The thing that I was thinking about the whole time when you were saying that, your story is exactly what Jamie said. He's like, you mean I have to hustle? I can't just,
yeah.
I was thinking exactly that because, I have a baby on the way. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is like becoming a parent, right? And like, what are the skills and things that I want to teach my kid, which is weird, totally foreign for me to even be like thinking about this stuff. And, I wasn't great in school. I didn't have great grades, but I did have hustle. And, my wife is very much, she's smart with books. She's a nurse practitioner. She's very bright. Medicine is extremely difficult. And she's always like big on like college and school and all that. And I'm like, hustle. We got to teach them hustle. We don't need school. You can have somebody that is a straight A, and this is just my opinion. But I feel like you can have somebody that is
comments. Everybody, just we do not. No, go ahead. I'm just kidding.
You can have somebody, and I've seen this a lot. This is why I say this is my experience. Straight A students with no hustle. I mean, it's
an employee mindset. They have an employee mindset.
Right. Very little traction.
Mindset when you're trying to.
You can have a average student with strong hustle that can have incredible success, and that is kind of like the X factor, the variable. And something you said, Tom, about looking for that push button solution to getting the client. If you're looking to go from on a scale of 1 to 10, you have no clients, 0, or if the scale is traction, how much traction you have. If you're going from 0 to 1, the push button solution is almost non-existent. Whereas if you already have some traction, like you've already been prospecting for a while, you already have a little bit of a presence, you already have a portfolio, you already have an email list, to do the push button method to get your next client is much easier. It does exist if you're at 3 to 5, 5 to 7. You can't now, Tom and I can both definitely push buttons and produce cash flow. But that is because we have built things that can do that. We have built vehicles and organizations to do that. You have to have hustle to build those things. And if, right now you're just back against the wall trying to get your next client, it's going to take hustle. There's no way around it. But really, if you break it down, what is the hustle? It's finding somebody that has a problem and you offering to solve it. And if you can just spend your time looking for somebody that has a problem, you can offer to solve it for a fee. You're going to find a client, Yeah. And however you want to do that, that is ultimately what it comes down to. The tattoo shop that Tom walked into, the problem they have is they want more people to get tattoos. The problem he solved was he can put their offer for, tattoos in front of tens of thousands of people for a very small price, whereas they'd have to pay a lot more. And so you just have to find those people that have those problems.
Yeah. And I think too, when you have a little bit of runway and you don't find yourself in that situation, like, I got to generate some money now. Nick talked about having a portfolio and building these things that really increase your chances of being able to get clients easily. You can do that when you don't have that pressure and you have a little bit of runway. You can do some, it doesn't even have to be pro bono work, but you could find a business or a cause in your area that you would like to support, and you could offer to help them at a discounted rate, or you could offer to help them for free, as long as they'll let you use that, as a a case study, or they'll give you a testimonial or things like that. Those are ways that you can also start to build up your confidence, asking around with friends and things like, does anybody need any help in this area? Like, I'm just trying to get some traction and get some foundation under me. And right now is your only chance to be able to hire me for, not a lot of money. Like, that's not going to last for very long. And so that can allow you to really experience what it's like to work with the client. The thing is, when you do that, like, you got to treat them like they're your biggest paying client ever and really deliver, if you don't have skills that you can sell, your first job should be learning the skills that you can sell. Second, like, well, what are the things like Nick talked about that I could be building up that would allow me, if I ever found myself in this situation again down the road, to generate cash flow much easier? Our community resource website's a great example. That's something, that you build up over time, and you can build a list of businesses that you verify, and you can have a list of qualified businesses that are potentials for your services, right? When you find yourself in a bind, you can reach out to those businesses, that type of stuff. I like this one here. This person says, does anyone here like to make calls? No. Like, I don't know. I haven't met anyone yet who likes to make calls. But here's the thing. You're going to do a lot of stuff as an entrepreneur that you don't like to do, but you have to do it. So, you, like, especially in the beginning, like, nobody likes to do that, but you got to do it to get going. And then you can start to hand that stuff off.
There are some people that like to make calls, but I would say more often than not, even in our agency, like, we have people making calls every single day, and you would make the argument that they really like making calls because they're good at it and they get it done. But I think they actually, they like more what the call produces, which is a commission. And that's why they do it.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Sandy, and everybody else that said congratulations. Tom, should I go over this account coordinator project coordinator
yes,
thing?
Yeah. Let's go over that. And then if you guys have other questions about getting clients and stuff and things like that, pop them in, because again, like, we didn't say all that stuff to discourage you, but really what we're really trying to instill in you is a realistic view of what you should be doing, right? It's really easy to get caught up in the confusion and all the stuff we have going on, and not see, the realistic view of what you need to do and what this part entails. As long as you understand and you're realistic about what you're trying to do, and you're willing to do what needs to be done to get that result, like, you can absolutely get it. When I found myself in that situation, I went 7 days straight in a row, and I generated, like, was 7,500 in new business and 4,000 in profit. And I had zero connections, zero. It was exactly kind of the situation that you're talking about, Jamie. But like, I had no choice, right? There was no quit. And what I see with a lot of people is they go, I have to do this. And then they go out there and they start doing it, and they run into a little bit of resistance, and they're just like, oh, well, this is too hard. Or, yeah, well, I don't really you got to just get it done no matter what. We were just talking about this yesterday, weren't we, Nick?
Yeah.
That difference in mindset. Like, when you don't know how many times Nick and I have found of ourselves in situations where it looked totally hopeless and there was no thing to do. And it was like, well, what are we going to do? It's like, well, we're going to take this one piece at a time, and we're going to freaking figure it out. Like, it's just the way of the entrepreneur, right? So, all right, I won't keep you from going over this anymore. Go ahead. I'll shut up.
And I know this is kind of a little bit off topic, but we started down this road. Somebody asked a question, and I do think it'd be valuable to share this with you all. So I'm going to share, for those that are just joining in. I see, hey, how about our attendance today? We got a whole bunch of people here. Appreciate you guys all being here. Give us some likes on the stream if you just showed up. And somebody asked earlier the difference between a project coordinator or project manager and an account coordinator and an account manager in the agency. And so we have a system that really explains that really well. And full disclosure, this this is a system that we share in Remote Millionaires, right? For those of you that don't know what Remote Millionaires is, that is our top tier program of agency coaching, I guess you could say, where you get essentially a franchise of our agency without really calling it a franchise, but you get all of our systems, processes, training, and mentorship. That's not what this is about. I just want you to know what it is. So this is something that we share there, and I'm not going to go into everything about this, but what you're looking at is a process outline, right? This is our soft process: sale, onboarding, fulfillment. This is how we take a client from becoming a sale to onboarding them to beginning the fulfillment process where the work actually gets done. And so you have these 3 boxes here. The orange box is the sales rep. Yellow box is account coordinator, which deals with onboarding, and project coordinator or project manager deals with fulfillment. And so this is their wheelhouse. And I'm going to give you a little bit of info on this. Oops. But I'm not going to spend all day here. So the sales rep, right? We have a new sale come in. Once that sale comes in, they submit is what's called a data fulfillment form to the team, which is all the information that they collected through the sales process to bring the rest of the team up to speed that they may know. They also will send an intake form to the client, the new client, and on that same email sending that form, they will schedule a welcome call with the account coordinator. And so the welcome call is where the sales rep will introduce the account coordinator as their new person of contact. So this is the person that they're going to start talking with anytime they have questions about their campaign or working with us. This will allow the sales rep to step out of the view of the client and then go back to selling. And I should say that if you are 10 clients and below, you're probably doing all these things yourself. If you're 10 clients and up, 20 clients, you probably have 1 or 2 of these people helping you already. You may have some help on the fulfillment side if you have 3 or 4 clients, but you probably don't have a sales rep. You probably don't have an account coordinator or actual project manager. So on the welcome call, the account coordinator is introduced as the person of contact and confirms all the information from the intake form and the data fulfillment form. And that way they can tell the project manager all of the important information about this new client and this new project that has just entered our system. And they will give all that information to the project coordinator, which is in this green box now. And the project coordinator or manager will then start to begin using the systems that we have to fulfill for whatever service we are offering. So if it's a website, if it's SEO, if it's ads, they will start to engage the web developer or begin working with an SEO expert to optimize the site, or let our ad specialist know, hey, we have a new client, we're going to start running ads. So that's kind of the difference of account coordinating and project managing. Account coordinating is the client relationship, the person that is onboarding completely and working with the client to send their reports on an ongoing basis, the main point of contact. Project management is really all about the fulfillment.
Yeah. And by the way, like, as Nick kind of mentioned on this thing, like, we did not just like wake up one day and have all these roles going. So
No.
there was a process to get here. And I'm going to tie this back to getting clients here in a minute. But like in the beginning, like Nick said, we were doing it all. In fact, one of the reasons Nick and I met in the first place was because I was getting a lot of clients and I hated doing the fulfillment. And I was trying to find somebody to do the fulfillment for me. And those were actually some of the first projects that Nick and I worked on together, were clients I had, and he was helping me do the fulfillment, right? So, you know, we did the sales for a long time, and then we just had an appointment setter that set the appointments, and we still did the sales calls. And so it's been a gradual process to get to this point. It doesn't just, happen overnight, right? That's number one. And so the way I'm going to tie this back to client getting is, I don't know who this person is they asked what our favorite hustle method is, right? You have a list of a particular niche. What would you choose between? Cold email, cold call, cold SMS, cold LinkedIn? I would be doing all of them but not all at once, right? Like, here's the thing about the different ways of getting clients. You are just going to find some that resonate with you and some that don't. Some you may be really good at, some you may suck at. But you have to kind of like give each one a try and look at your results, see if you can improve your results, and then you add the next thing in. So I would start with one thing and say, hey, like, and it also depends on what you're trying to do. Like, if you need to get a client now, cold email is probably not the best thing to start with if you're just doing it blind, unless you have a system or process in place, right? Because people's email boxes are crowded. I mean, it's crazy, right? You have to have a really good system and process to make cold email work. Cold calling is probably the fastest way to get a client, but it's the one that almost nobody wants to do, right? Because you're just calling, right? SMS can work really well. All of those things work. You just have to kind of pick one, stick with it, and then gradually add the other ones in. We did the same thing with the services we offer in the agency, right? We started with one service, and once we had that dialed in, we added another one, and then another one, and then another one. And so now you look at our business, and we have these 5 things we do.
I think, people should know the hierarchy of closing deals, at least with your methods. Obviously, if you're if you walk into a business and you show your face to the owner and you offer to solve their problem, you're probably going to have a higher conversion rate. You're not going to have to meet them 3 times on a Zoom call because you have this in-person rapport that you can develop. You can build trust, and if you set yourself up for success and you bring some sort of marketing collateral where you show them what you can do, or you can pull it up on your computer with you, you can show them the results that you can bring, or whatever it is, the past, 10 solar companies you've worked with, and you can show them those results, and you're going to work with them because they're a solar company. You can replicate that for them. You're going to have a higher conversion. The next one is phone calls. You have a higher conversion. You have a higher chance of having success if you just pick up the phone and call somebody. And that is because, again, you have more of a personal experience. It's much more difficult to trust somebody if you've never seen them, you've never heard their voice, and you get a mysterious email in your inbox that says, hey, give me some money. Give me some money. Like, that is not nearly as trustworthy as having a face-to-face arrangement, a voice conversation. And the next would be a Zoom call, getting on a Zoom call, having a virtual meeting where you can actually, and a virtual meeting may even have a higher conversion than an actual phone call. Because now you can see the person, you can hear the person, and you can have a conversation, and you can have almost a real life exchange. COVID really helped with Zoom call conversions because everybody got used to using Zoom. It's like really just a norm now. So in person, phone call or Zoom. Next you have email. Next you have text.
And ideally, you want to eventually be doing all of those things.
Right. But that's the hierarchy.
Emails, yeah.
If you like, the highest conversion is the one that people don't want to do the most. Walk into a business, call a business, send an email, send an SMS. Yeah. And like Tom said, if you can do all those things, you're going to have much higher success. Now, we have been working on an email strategy. I'm going to say too much about that.
Don't let
that has basically flipped all this on its head and put email at the top. And we're not we're not at liberty to share any of that information right now at this very moment, because as you all know, anytime we do something, we really need to test it before we share it. But more of those details on that is coming. Flo says, share.
I will show you guys one thing here, because this is pretty crazy. Let me see.
It really has, and I mean this, everybody. It really has flipped. Like that process of the hierarchy of what you get the most conversions is very true. And even, with this method that we've been working on, like, you need to remember how we talked about scaling. If you have some sort of traction, then you can send the push button and make progress and get some sales pretty quickly. Well, you have to have this setup which takes traction to implement. So you can't just cold email and expect that type of conversion where you can flip the entire hierarchy of what works the best on its head.
Yeah, hold on. Let me show you guys this. Oh,
somebody asked if we're going to be offering the new email strategy as a course. We might.
Here, I'll just show you guys. I think that I can do it this way, so you won't be able to see. But I just want to show you this. So this is the first person that I shared this strategy with to beta test. Okay, and this so I'm going to tell you this. This is cold email. This is a list of cold businesses that have no idea who this person is. They've never heard from him before. They have no idea of what's going on.
Scraped leads.
A scraped lead. Yeah, somebody was asking about a lead list, and we'll talk about that. So a list that he scraped himself. Okay, look at this. 99% delivered. Opened 44.42%. Like, that is unbelievable. 3.76 clicked on his link. 3.64% replied to the email. And I'm pretty sure this was 1,000 emails that he sent out.
Wow.
So, and I know the deals that came from this. Like, he got some people to take him up on a free offer he made, and he got, I think, 7 or 8 people to upgrade to a paid thing. And he now has a list of like verified leads that he can work with. And he just posted this morning that he sold an additional service to one of these people. So like if you've ever tried cold email or you're trying to do that, it is like stunning how frustrating it can be. Like, these numbers are pretty unbelievable, but this is held true for the other people that we've given this to and said, hey, like, test this out. We want to see, like, we just want to make sure it's not something we're doing, right? Like, this works. And these are pretty much the same results we've seen for everybody. So pretty amazing. I'm super excited about it. You guys are going to freaking love it.
Who would be interested in hearing more about that, by the way? Put an I'm interested in the comments there.
Better be everybody. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's not very often that we come across something that's like such a drastic improvement, you know? And as you know, up until we started developing this system and testing it out ourselves and really like getting it going, like we were pretty frustrated with cold email. It typically wasn't something we recommended people do. But so David said, what do you think of the lead generation software to get the first client? David, do you mean like tools to identify? Like, so Nick hit on something very important. And I want to back up a little bit to way before you have any clients and just say something that is probably going to seem very basic to most of you on here, but like it was I mean, I knew it, people say it all the time, but it was a revelation when I finally got it. And Nick said, find somebody with a problem and offer to help them solve it, right? What that really means is when I was first trying to get clients, like I was only thinking about the money. I need the money. I need the money. I need the money. I need the money. I want the money. I want the money. I want the money. Right? Like that was like what can I do to get the money? Like I used to have those questions. I would ask those questions on webinars. Well, what can I do to get the money? Like that is the exact wrong question, right? Like I should be asking, well, what do people need help with and how can I help them get what they want? Like if I can help you get what you want, you will gladly pay me for that if it's something you really want or something you really need. And so when the light bulb finally went off for me and I was like, oh, wait a minute. When I talk to a client, I'm not, or a potential client, I'm not trying to sell them something. I'm trying to find out what their problem is and if they want help solving it. And if they don't think they have a problem or they don't want help solving it, well, then goodbye, talk to you later. Like, do you know anybody that has a problem that I could help solve? Like, send me to them. You know what I mean? But when I identified somebody that knew they had a problem and they wanted to get it fixed, now I'm like, oh, well, let me just show you how I can help you solve that problem. And I can solve that problem for you in this way. And this is what I charge to do that. Like, it takes all of the pressure out of that conversation. And also too, you all of a sudden don't sound like a salesperson, right? Like, all of a sudden you sound like you're interested in them, because you're interested in their problem. And well, how's that affect your business? Oh, well, you're not getting calls from your website. Well, like, how's that affect your business? How would your business be different if you were able to get just 2-3 calls a month from your website, right? Like, I mean, those kinds of things come when you're really trying to, our sales extraordinaire experts, Nick Luisi and Jason Canigan and Lucy in the RM training, they always say the same thing, always be curious. Like, well, how does that affect you? What's going on there? Well, tell me more about that. Like, just have a genuine interest in helping them. And you can, in the beginning, like, yes, you're trying to get the sale, but like, you can just be genuinely interested if there's a problem and if they want help fixing it. Very, very important, right? Very important.
Yeah. Felicia says that she removed the money factor from her brain and has been working on mindset of helping others first, which is exactly what Tom said. If you can focus on solving the problem, you don't sound like a salesman, which for me was a difficult part, because I was trying to sound like a salesman because that's what I thought I needed to sound like, although I sucked at being a salesman. So that is an entirely even more stressful situation. You just start sweating. You don't even really know what you're talking about. You start trying to sell and you're not even good at selling. Let me tell you, there's almost nothing that is worse than trying to be good at selling and not doing a good job in a sales situation.
Yeah. Well, what was that? Remember we had the conversation and we were all like, when we figured out, like, you don't make an offer to everybody you talk to. Yeah. Like, what a revelation that was to us. Like, wait a minute. Right. You mean when I get on the call and I'm asking questions and I'm seeing if they have a problem and I'm seeing if they want help, like, if they don't think they have a problem, or they don't think it's that bad, or they don't really want help fixing it, or they're not in a, then like, I shouldn't even offer it to them. I should just move to the next person. Like, that's such a revelation. And what are those questions that you ask to find out, do they really want help? Well, do you struggle with this in your business? How's it affecting your business? Like, would it make a difference in your business if this problem was solved? Are you interested in solving the problem? Well, how fast would you want to implement a solution to that problem? All those questions that, if you've read any sales book or studied any sales, you're probably like, oh yeah, I've heard that stuff, but I never really connected, like, well, what it was really about. And that's really what it's about, right? A lot of times they call that pre-qualifying, leading the person in. And then when you find somebody that meets all those criteria, that they've got the problem, they want to get it solved, they want to get it solved now, they're motivated, then you make that person the offer, right? The other people, you just move on.
You don't make offers to people that are not closable. And so
exactly. Yeah.
Everything that you do before you make that offer is trying to figure out if this person is even closable. And like Tom said, those are all the things. What's the problem? What have you tried before? How long have you been doing that? Why didn't that work? And if somebody were to respond to that and be like, well, we've been doing this thing, and you say, how's that working? Like, it's great. We're getting 10 clients every day. And you try to make them an offer. Like, what's that going to be like? Yeah. They're not closable. They don't have a problem. They don't need your solution. But yeah, Tom and I made offers to people that were not closable many, many times.
But if the person says, you say, well, how's that going? And they say, well, actually not too good. Like, we're spending all this money. We're not getting very many clients. Like, okay, now there's it, right? You see what I'm saying? And that brings us back to what David asked here about the lead generation software. If you look at a lot of the courses and products that we've put out over the years, they're all around a foot in the door offer. And a lot of times the software that we include is a software that helps you identify a problem, because that's always where we want to start. We want to identify somebody with a problem. So, in Home Services Jackpot that I was talking about earlier, We don't have a software. We just go to Google and look for people that don't have websites or they have crappy ones. But there are other things, like we have a software called Speed Sniffer that helps you identify websites that load slow. What are we doing with those things? Well, we're trying to pre-qualify on some level the people that we're reaching out to. And so if you have a service that you're already selling or that you want to sell, one of the best tips I can give you is to start with the end in mind and work yourself backwards. So like if websites is what you want to sell, then you shouldn't be doing any type of prospecting to people that have really great websites. Like the first goal should be to find people that have crappy, crummy websites. If you're doing SEO, you don't want to be prospecting to the people that are number 1 and number 2 on Google. You want to be prospecting to the people that are on the second, the third page, right? And if you have a tool that can help you identify those people, that's better. So think about, in the beginning, think about the end. Okay. So, if this is the thing I want to sell at the end, what type of person do I need to find that I can go there with? Right. And I'll give you another example of doing this with our community resource websites. A lot of people just add random local businesses to their community resource website. But if you really want to laser in your prospecting with that method and get more clients, start with the end in mind. So you say, okay, I want to sell SEO. So the list of businesses that I add to my website should be all people that have shitty SEO. And then when I call them to do the business verification method and say, hey, I'm checking your information, right? We're going to set up your listing. When I set up their listing, now I go to them and say, hey, when I was setting up your listing, I noticed you have shitty SEO. I made a quick little video of what some of the problems are that you should probably fix right away. If you need help fixing them, let me know. But I already knew I was going to do that from the beginning. Like I deliberately added businesses that I knew I was going to be making offers to at the end. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope. Oh yeah, there's a great one. The path to 6 figures. I'm just looking at some of the comments here, Nick. I know we're getting ready to run out of time and we got a few things to do. We need to do some shark shoutouts.
Let's do that. Let's do the shoutouts.
So let's do some shark shoutouts, and let me get over here because we got.
You guys got great questions though. I see all those. We've
make a note.
I think we've done our
job.
job dropping some value bombs today so far.
Okay. Here we go. We had a lot of shoutouts, pardon me, this week. So first, Rahu picked up a new citation project from an old client, $110.
Nice job.
Solid win. Big Al reported he and his wife closed $50,000 in revenue in the last 2 months, implementing strategies they learned in Remote Millionaires. Big Al, so funny. He came in, we were like, we haven't heard from him in a while. And then it was like, hey, sorry, you guys haven't heard from me. I've been too busy. He's like, but this is what I'm doing. So it was really awesome to see that. So congratulations, Al, to you and your lovely wife. That's awesome.
Good job, Big Al.
Love the team effort. Next shout out, Donna Norris sold a basic 3-page web design, $750. Also waiting for a new SEO client at $1,000 a month to hit. Wow. That's a big one.
Nice, Donna.
Dan Lesser, new website, 2,500 pounds and 1,000 pounds for SEO and Google Ads management per month for one solar client. He got a $1,200 per month SEO for another solar client. He closed a $997 a month new SEO website client, came through his community resource website, Agency Growth Machine. Didn't even speak to them before they bought a premium profile and then upgraded them to the SEO on the second call. A total of $7,355. Awesome work, Dan, man. You've been crushing it. I love it.
Dan the man. He's come a long way, hasn't he, Tom?
He has. Yeah, I mean, when he first came into Remote Millionaires, he didn't have any recurring clients, and I think just a couple of clients here and there. So really awesome to see him growing. Been killing it. Devendra and his business partner, Nick Indar, closed a barbershop for a new website, $900 plus $100 a month for maintenance.
Nice.
That's great. Awesome. Danny Epstein, another Remote Millionaires member, picked up a new client, a local painter, SEO, reputation, social media, and high level, $2,400 a month plus $1,000 in ad spend.
Nice, Danny.
That is a solid deal, Danny. Congratulations. Damien closed a new web design project, $900 for a small reception hall, possible $150 monthly retainer to help them with social media every month. I think this was the post in the Facebook group. Did you see this with him in the grocery store aisle?
Yes.
Like, the look on my face, that was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Congratulations.
He was actually feeling down about not closing a deal for a while, and then he did that, and now he's all pumped up again.
Joanne Westwood shared she had her best sale to date, $10,500 with a recurring $6,300 for Google Business Profile and Google Ads Management. That is a big one. I mean, that's a over $100,000 win right there. One client.
Yeah.
$100,000 agency. Excellent work, Joanne. And Nick Ponte Marketing increased a PPC client from 3,000 to 5,000. A new client, indoor ice skating rink. There's an indoor ice skating rink on Maui. Where's that client at?
It's on Oahu, actually.
On Oahu, I started to say. Indoor ice skating rink, $750 SEO package plus 119 recurring website. And then $1,000 SEO plus a $2,000 Google Ads for a new activity company. Excellent work.
Yeah. See, look, I see those numbers, everybody, and I just see stress. I see stress in the sense of like when you start pushing high numbers of clients, it gets wild. But we are charting these waters for you, in front of you, so that we can show you what we're doing to help you get there. You think we know what it takes to get to 6 figures? Think we know what it takes to get to 7 figures? So, the information and the strategies that we're sharing with you, it's all real. It's all real stuff that we're actively doing. So never forget that.
Yeah, that's a combined total of $83,185 for the week of July 8th through the 14th. It's a grand total since the start of 2023 of $994,691. We should cross the $1 million mark next week. So make sure you come to the live show next week for that. And congratulations to all the shout out people and everybody in there. Excellent work.
Great work, everybody.
One thing we didn't do this last week, so we should do this week before we head out. And that is every week we like to reward someone for celebrating a win or just being a good steward of our Facebook community with Member of the Week. They get this, the Offline Sharks treasure chest filled with goodies that only the recipients know. Our team will send it directly to you. This week, our Member of the Week is Damien. Congratulations, nice. Damien. It was an awesome win. We got the treasure chest coming to you. Somebody from the team will reach out and get that. Excellent. So congratulations on being Member of the Week.
Congrats, Damien. And I love that he shared a recent win that he had recently too. Took a picture, gave us that personalized feeling of just like letting us know he's actually a person and a human that's participating in this group. It's always nice to see your faces, and so many of you here, like we know you all, we know most of you by name. You've been here for a long time. You're participating and building your business. You're investing in this community too by being here, by commenting, by sharing your experience with other people, by chiming in. When you're at home by yourself, it's very difficult. But if you have this community here to help and support you build your agency, it doesn't become such a quiet, boring, or maybe secluded place. So good on you for contributing, everybody.
Yeah, and a couple of things too. I probably should have done this earlier, but Nick did put a free training together on his foolproof client onboarding process, which we talked a little bit about on this call. It's a free video. You guys can just go watch it. I'm going to let the link scroll on the bottom, but if you go to offlinesharks.com/onboarding, you can watch that video, see that training, and enjoy. Nothing else there. I mean, just enjoy it, learn, implement it if you can. And then I have one other shout out to my oldest daughter, Paige. She applied for her first job yesterday, and today she got hired.
What?
So congratulations, Paige.
I thought we were gonna hire her. What?
Well, we might. She's it's actually a family entertainment company. So she's going to be going and working with like kids' birthday parties and events and things like that. But it's pretty sporadic. So yeah, she might be working for us too. And
Nice.
July 2nd was my 50th birthday. And one of the things that my family did for me was they didn't just get me one present, they got me 50 presents. And I had to sit and unwrap them all. They were great presents. And I've been trying to use all of them so I can say that I used every present. And today, I'm going to use this present. Oh, come on. Why isn't it on?
Epic fail.
Why isn't
That
it
was
on?
great.
Oh, my God. It's the battery. We're going to have to use it next week.
I love it. That's great.
I didn't even test it. I just grabbed it. The battery sometimes pops out, but it's loaded up. We'll use it next week.
Don't tell them what it is. It's a laser beam.
It's a laser beam. But until then, let's do this.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Cheating, bling, bling, got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
Yes, each week when you go to that post in our Facebook group and say congratulations to all the shout out winners, we reward a couple people with some Cash App money. So, Nick, who's our winners?
Our winners this week are Chris Hatch and Chandra Rao.
Congratulations. The team will reach out. They'll get your Cash App tags or your PayPal, and they'll get that sent over to you. Man, a really awesome live show. Love seeing everybody here. We'll be here next Friday. Same sharp time, same sharp channel. In the meantime, if you have questions, you can post them in the Facebook group. We'll see you inside there. Stay safe out there, everybody. Practice aloha, and we'll see you here next week.
See you, everybody.
You've been watching the Aloha Marketing Jam session, your weekly marketing live show, always bringing you the latest strategies and tactics to build your remote empire from anywhere in the world. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. You can stay up to date throughout the week with the Remote Millionaires podcast at remotemillionaires.com/podcast and Nick's YouTube videos at nickponte.com/YouTube. We'll be back here next Friday for another live show. Until then, aloha.